Introducing
Charlotte,
Jenny,
and all that jazz.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
Another episode of And All That Jazz.
So excited to be back with you here on Backstage Radio. So, Charlotte, what's been centre stage with you this week?
What has been centre stage with me? Oh, I did a poetry workshop. I did a poetry workshop with Bradley Taylor and Zachariah, and they are both incredible poets in Birmingham. Honestly, amazing. I don't know how they write the way that they do all the time. They've just got their own unique styles, which is really cool. So there was just a workshop following on from Piece of Work Poetry, which was at the Museum and Art Gallery in Birmingham. So they're doing a whole package thing of going to the poetry night, and then there being a writing workshop after. So it's trying to encourage poets of Birmingham to come and be in a space together and just write, basically, which is awesome. A great initiative. So I went along to that. And it was just, we performed one of our poems and then we had feedback from everybody.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, but do you know what? It's so nice to hear. And it was not all, oh, that was a great poem, well done. It was real good, critical feedback.
Oh, that's what you want, isn't it? Yeah. Something to get your teeth into. Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than just people telling you how fantastic you are all the time, because it was exhausting.
Boring.
Yeah, it was nice to just have critical feedback. I usually send my poems to my best mate because he was Poet Laureate of Wales a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Children's Poet Laureate of Wales. So I usually send my poems to him and he'll give me feedback or say, what about this, change this bit here. But it was nice to be in a space with a room full of writers. One thing that I learned from that workshop was that I'm not a very good critical
Poet.
Thanks, Jenny. I'm not a very good critical evaluator.
Right, okay, yeah.
You know, giving people constructive criticism. Not very good at it.
Are you good at giving yourself constructive criticism?
Yes.
Are you kind
That's
to
the
yourself?
only thing that I do.
But you actually find it hard to give other people constructive criticism?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're such a nice person.
No, so just giving feedback at all, as in listening to something and then going, I think maybe you should do. I could do it if I was writing it down. You know, if they sent it to me in a document.
Yeah. On
and
an actual feedback form. Yeah.
Yeah, or if they just sent me their poem and I would go, oh, this doesn't sound right here, or this doesn't sound right, maybe move this. But actually saying stuff out loud and giving someone pointers of where they could be better, I really struggled with that.
Why is that though?
I don't know if it's because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I think you've said this before though about yourself, about you've got issues about being heard and you don't really think that...
I have said that before.
You don't really think that your voice is valid or that people want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
So, psychologist Jenny says, that's that one solved.
Diagnosed.
Next.
But yeah, I realised I wasn't very good at it. So that's a skill that I need to brush up on. But it was really nice. And then we just had a little exercise where we had to they would give us prompts. So they would give us a word every 15 seconds and you had to just carry on writing.
Oh.
Just keep going, which was really challenging.
That sounds fun.
It unlocks so many things in your brain. And then Bradley asked us to start writing a poem about something we've always wanted to write about, but we just haven't we haven't done it yet for whatever reason it might be. So yeah, I started a poem then, but it's incredible what just sitting in a room full of people doing the same thing unlocks.
Being with other people is inspiring in itself, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
In any capacity, I think.
Yeah, and people that are all on the same kind of wavelength or mindset as you. Yeah, it was nice. It was a good challenge.
I think just being with other people in any capacity, if you've got a creative brain, it does spark ideas and interest in you, doesn't it? Because I wrote a play once about being in a hair salon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was only a very short play, but that all just came from having my hair done listening to the things that the hairdressers were saying and the clients were saying.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this is really
good
interesting.
content.
Yeah. So I went home and made some notes, and then every time I went to the hairdressers after that for a while, I was listening and formed it into a little play. So
Cool.
even mixing with people in the most everyday situations
Yeah.
can spark that, can't it?
Well, yeah, at uni we did an improv course, and we had to go out into the street and just sit and watch people.
Everyone loves people watching though,
love
don't they?
people
Like
watching.
when you're on the beach or at the bus stop or whatever.
Yeah. And it's learning how, watching how people move, or learning how different people walk, or, how they use their physicality or their expressions, or how they talk, or how they interact with other human beings. It's so interesting. But yeah, we were forced to do that at uni. Like, get out onto the streets. And then we had to create a character from what we'd learned out on the town that day.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
This is why programmes like Big Brother and reality television, it's why they're so popular though, isn't it? Because as humans, we want to watch other humans.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
And I guess it's a way of like understanding yourself as well, isn't it? When you watch other people.
Yeah.
But reality TV is just one of those ones it's not real. And
well, obviously these days it's got a bit skewed, but the original Big Brother series, I don't know if you remember it, but it was actually designed as a social experiment, and the people they had in there were very normal, just from all walks of life, very normal people, and it was really interesting to watch them interacting with each other. These days they put them in all these random situations and they push them to the limit. It's produced to within an inch of its life, isn't it? But back then, a lot of it was just their normal interactions with each other. And obviously, sometimes they had arguments, sometimes they disagreed about things, or they got on well with each other, or they fell in love, or, all sorts of things. It was on a much more normal level, and I found that really interesting to watch. And now it's got a bit sort of twisted and overproduced. I don't find it as interesting because you can see what's coming a mile off.
Yeah, because it's not real.
Exactly.
Like, it isn't
but
real.
when it was real, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And that's the essence of reality television, isn't it? That people want to watch other people.
Yeah. What worries me is that people that are watching it now
don't know how false it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they don't know how heavily produced it is, because
Yeah.
you get people being like, oh my God, did you see the way that they took? And I'm like, well, they were actually probably told to stand there and have a conversation with that person, and they were all probably starving and sweating because it's so hot in that room, and agitated because those are the conditions that they've been put in to stand there and have this conversation.
A lot of these programmes, they make sure that the contestants or participants, contributors, whatever you want to call them, are really tired most of the time as well.
Which is that's like
They're
scary
pushed to
stuff.
their limits, yeah.
That's really scary stuff.
If you're a child growing up now, almost everything you watch is heavily produced in that way. And so you don't really know much different.
No, and it's really scary. I find it really daunting that children are not learning that watching things on TV isn't real.
The line between reality and fiction has been so blurred, hasn't it, these days?
Yeah.
Even with photographs with filters.
Yes.
You don't really know what to believe, what's real, what's not, what's true, what's not.
I know, and with AI and stuff now, have you seen all the videos on TikTok with the kids that are dancing and it's all AR?
No.
It's so scary.
Really?
Yeah, it's really scary. And all the videos that people are making, like people have been sending each other videos of someone being sat inside their house. Like, if someone's been away, that their friends have played a joke on them and put...
Oh, I've seen those, yeah.
Like videos of people inside their house, or, someone sitting on their lawn or in their back garden when these people are away, and it's obviously supposed to be a joke, but that's terrifying.
It is, that you can do that now.
Yeah.
And also, the average person can create these videos and photographs on their phone. It's not specialist technology.
No.
There's no cost to it. It's literally at the hands of everybody, which is so dangerous.
Yeah, it's really scary. Again, it's really interesting because of how people are interacting with the technology and how people are using the technology.
Is it going to be used for good or for evil?
Always evil. It's always evil. But evil will not prevail. I don't think that people are inherently evil, really. I do think that AI is a difficult one, isn't it? Because it helps a lot of people with stuff. I don't think that it's healthy for people to use it to help them to write a poem or write an email, because then you're losing your sense of expression, right? You're losing your ability to form your opinions into something creative. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it is in danger of taking the place of art, isn't it? And creativity.
Yeah. But hopefully people will rally and realise that AI will never replace people, because AI cannot put the same amount of emotion into something that humans can. I feel like there'll always be...
It can never replicate passion, true creativity and heart.
Yeah, so like where there's people, there's always going to be creativity, right? And that surely robots cannot surpass that.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because as you said before, whenever there's a social event, art comes into play. So if you've got a wedding, a birthday, anything like that, art and creativity is interwoven through that celebration.
Yeah.
You know, you've got poetry, music, decor, design. It goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With these human interactions and celebrations.
Yeah, it does.
Actually, that brings me on to some sad news that I had this week, that a lady that I worked with, Naomi Gibbs, sadly passed away suddenly.
Oh, no.
I worked with Naomi at the New Theatre Royal in Portsmouth on Santa Claus the Musical in 2016. She was an amazing seamstress.
Really?
And costumier, yeah. She was always turned out beautifully herself.
Nice.
She wore a lot of vintage style clothing. She was immaculately dressed.
Yeah.
She had such style, grace, elegance.
Really?
You know, yeah. When she walked into a room, she turned heads, literally. Yeah. As I say, she was such a talented seamstress.
Yeah.
And she created costumes, but also things like wedding dresses, party dresses for people. And the outpouring on Facebook and online that I've seen, the messages, they all say how her creativity and talent has touched their lives in some way. You know, with the wedding dress, it's such a personal, momentous occasion.
Yeah.
You know, clothing is a very personal, sentimental item, isn't it, for people?
Yeah, especially with like wedding dresses and...
Exactly. And when you've got a special occasion, you want to wear something special. And she brought that to so many people's lives.
It's so cool.
So although, she did such fantastic work on stage and screen, but also in people's personal lives. So she will be remembered through that. She designed clothes, famously for Adamant.
Oh, really?
She did his jackets for many, many years.
That's so cool.
And also she designed for Julian Clary and even Princess Anne.
Really?
Yeah, she's done some really good stuff. Yeah, I knew that she worked with Adamant because we were on Santa Claus the Musical, and she came in one day with this half-made jacket. And I said, oh, wow, I love that jacket. It was like a little sort of black bomber jacket thing. And I said, wow, I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. She was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, it looks really nice. And she said, do you want to try it on? I was like, yeah, all right. So I tried it on. As I say, it was only half made. The seams hadn't been finished and the lining hadn't been finished. But tried it on. And I said, wow, would you make me one of these? I'd love one of these. She said, yeah, I'll make one for you. I never got round, sadly, to actually following that through. And I said, oh, is this for a show or is this for you? And she said, oh, it's actually for Adamant.
What?
And I was stood there wearing this jacket. I was like, really? I'm wearing Adamant's jacket? She said, yeah, so
you got to put it on before he did.
Yeah, she let me take a photo, but I promised not to post it anywhere. Yeah. So I'm sure he wouldn't mind now that he knows that I did actually try on that jacket before he did. No, but it was fantastic. And yeah, she just brought so much happiness to people's lives. in lots of ways, you know, but her
Yeah.
talent was really special and she'll be greatly missed. So Naomi's a beautiful example of how the arts can never be replaced by technology.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's why we work in the arts and this industry, isn't it? Because we're so passionate about it and we just love that creativity.
Yeah.
Whatever department you're working in, you feel that passion and creativity for it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and you never know who you're going to meet.
Exactly. Even on our days off, we go and see theatre shows, don't we?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we
talking
do.
of which, did you go and see Prima Facie?
I did.
Jodie Comer?
Yeah, I went to see it at the Rep. I bought my tickets about 2 years ago. It blew me away. I took my friend with me, Jodie, her name is also Jodie, and she loved it just as much as I did. But it was just so harrowing.
Really?
So I didn't realise what the subject was about.
Is it a one-woman show?
Yeah, it's a one-woman
Right,
show.
okay, so it's very intense then.
Very intense. And she held an audience for an hour and 45 straight.
Wow. Oh, no interval.
It just went straight through. And it was amazing how somebody can hold your attention for that long without you feeling like you're just sitting. You know, when you watch a show sometimes and you're just sitting there like,
Starts to
I
drag.
can't wait for this to end. I didn't realise that we'd been sat there for so long watching this show.
Wow.
The writing is incredible. Jodie Comer's acting was phenomenal. The scene changes were so slick. Like, it was just... I've not seen a piece of theatre that I've walked away from being like, yes, for so long. But I didn't realise what it was about. So I thought originally it was about a woman that was working her way up from a working class background to being, you know, a top barrister.
Right.
And I thought that was the whole story. And I was like, this is going to be a bit difficult to make interesting. But it's actually about abuse. So it's about sexual abuse and sexual harassment. And it takes you through her journey. So, should I talk about this? I feel like people are... Oh, no, the tour's finished now, so it's fine. I can talk about it. So it's about a woman who comes from a working class background. She does go to uni and stuff, how she feels like she doesn't belong there, how they say at uni that only 1 in 3 of those lawyers are going to make it, you know, into the industry. But that feeds through later on when it talks about how 1 in 3 women in the workplace are abused.
Right, okay.
Or 1 in 3 women, not just in the workplace, sorry, 1 in 3 women out of all the population are abused in some form, sexual harassment or harassment, which is insane. That's such a huge amount of people.
1/3 of the population, wow.
Yep. It's about that, and she starts off as a defence attorney for the men that are doing the abuse, and she obviously has to interview women on the stand and all those kind of things. And then it happens to her. So she does that whole scene, and then it becomes about her journey kind of after the event and how she deals with it, and then her going to court. And then it shows her journey of her going then through the process herself and her having to sit up there and be examined the way that she had examined those other women. And she kind of obviously comes to the realisation that it's not a fair system or a just system, because when you're in that situation, you can't recall that situation logically or thoroughly because it was such a traumatic experience. And when you talk about trauma, it's never linear.
Yeah.
Like your trauma is never linear, and you can never remember anything step by step. And because you're so emotional and everything at the same time, so it goes through all of that, and it's so interesting. And then they do a bit at the end where they give you all of the statistics, and then they round it up by saying basically something needs to change. It was the most phenomenal piece of theatre I've seen.
Wow.
Really heavy, like everyone was standing on their feet, you know, giving a standing ovation and stuff. You could feel, I guess, the solidarity in the room for women, and 2, you could feel the weight that it also put on everybody.
Yeah.
And how it will be talked about, just as we're talking about it now, by every single person in that room. And to me, that's how you start to affect change, and that's why the arts is so important, because that's what it's for. It's there to give people a voice that don't have a voice in the real world.
Excellent.
To tell people's stories.
Great.
It was
good to hear about a proper piece of theatre.
proper piece of theatre, mate. Yeah, breathtaking.
Wow. But no interval. Did you need a wee?
Luckily, I'd only drank 7 margaritas before I got in there, so I did need a wee, but I managed to hold it in.
That's the bit I'd be worried about.
No, they said as you're coming in, they said there's no readmittance. So if you left, you were not allowed back in.
Oh.
And it's understandable because it's such a heavy piece of theatre.
Yeah.
And she's on her own. She's on her own up there. Obviously, she's got support of the stage management. Actually, a girl that I've worked with before was doing her follow spots.
Oh.
Yeah. So I messaged her and I was like, "You're in Birmingham?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm working on Prima Facie." And she's went on the tour with it, which is really cool.
Wow.
So she got to meet Jodie Comer. I was so jealous.
And what's the in on Jodie Comer? What's she like?
Really nice.
Oh, good.
She did have like 3 dressing rooms to herself at the
Yeah.
rep. But yeah, no, she's apparently really nice. And honestly, props to her. After I heard that she had like 3 dressing rooms, I was like, ugh, celebrities.
Bit of don't know about prima facie, more like prima donna.
But then when I watched the show, I was like, she deserves it.
Yeah.
Give her the whole theatre.
So,
what about you? What have you been up to?
I've been to Wales on holiday.
Nice.
Yeah, that was lovely. Down in Llanelli, near Swansea.
Oh, I love Llanelli.
Yeah, it's a really nice part of the world. Everyone's really friendly there as well.
They are, yeah.
I mean, I live in Redditch and people here are really friendly and down to earth. But I think I like Llanelli because it is a bit like Redditch on sea. People are really friendly and helpful.
Typical English.
But it's just got lovely beaches and views. I was staying in a penthouse apartment, which was rather nice.
Fancy.
So I had magnificent views.
Okay.
Yeah, really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I took Elliot to Wales.
Did you?
Yeah.
What, that same week?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, whereabouts? I didn't see you there.
Oh, I know. No, I went to Cardiff and to Mountain Ash. So we went into Cardiff, went to Cardiff Castle, then we went to Cardiff Bay and got some Welsh cakes and some ice cream.
Yes, we brought some Welsh cakes home.
Did you?
Yeah.
I love Welsh cakes.
And we ate a lot of ice cream.
There's a little Welsh cake shop in Cardiff Bay and that's all they sell. And it is the best Welsh cake I've ever tried. And they make them all fresh and they do loads of different flavours. So they have like lemon, milk chocolate. I had hazelnut and raspberry, I think it was.
Oh, yum.
Just so good. And a raspberry and a lemon flavoured.
Oh, I'll have to get... Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
I know, it's coming back. But yeah, so I took him and then we went to visit my friends in Mountain Ash and we had like a little sleepover with them. Made pizzas, which Elliot claims are better than Pizza Hut.
Well, that's a big question, which we don't have time for today. In fact, that is all we've got time for today. So, what have we learnt?
What have we learnt this week?
We've learnt that AI will never take the place of human heart.
So we'd better get our act together.
We'd better get our act together.
So join us next week on Backstage Radio, Wednesday, 10 a.m, for more on theatre, television, and all that jazz. Today's episode was in memory of Naomi Gibbs.